Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
All my neighborhood's dogs are joining us in the studio today. Hopefully you can't hear them.
I love that. Hell yeah.
But they have apparently a lot of feelings.
Yeah, sure.
The Greek chorus of neighborhood dogs.
Listen, nobody asked them what their thoughts about vampires are, and I think that's a shame.
Maybe all those fucking New York influencers need to stop asking people hot takes on subways, and they need to start asking neighborhood dogs their thoughts instead.
Yeah. Give them a tiny mic and let them rip.
God,
you know?
I would rather watch that, honestly, than people bothering each other on public transit.
Yeah.
I just want to know neighborhood dogs and their hot takes.
Yeah.
Welcome to Into the Twilight.
Ayo.
We're glad that you're here, that you are surviving.
Yeah.
I would love to know how you're doing.
I'm here. I'm living. I've brought a sort of a show, more of a web series on the old youtube.com to bring to the space today, featuring former and frequent Happy Thing guest of mine in days past, Mr. Ludwig Ogren, who previously we have talked about for trapping himself in a glass cube.
Yeah, who makes me concerned.
Exposing his entire life for a month for content for streaming, right?
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a different path here, because he recently did something in the last month, a series called Tip to Tip with another YouTuber named Michael Reeves, who is also good. He's known for posting like maybe once a year, but with the most kind of buck wild like engineering video of all time, like very Simone Yetch kind of energy, but like even more like dark and twisted, of like, what if I just built a car out of Lime scooters, right? Or what if I gave a goldfish $50,000 to invest in the stock market and see how he does, right? Like that's kind of the energy here that he brings.
Okay.
And so they did a video series together called Tip to Tip, in which they rode motorcycles, from the southernmost tip of Japan to the most northern point tip of Japan.
Okay.
And they had 14 days to do it, and they had no map, no cell phone, nothing. Going off of vibes and faith and dreams and talking to a lot of grocery store and like convenience store employees to help them.
Oh my God. What in the amazing race?
Yes, exactly. It's incredibly amazing race, and they both like speak a little bit of Japanese, but not like fluently, right? So it's like they're trying their best, but it's also like, you know, it's tough out here. They're just making it work on vibes and determination. And this whole time, like they have their own like vlogging cameras and stuff. They also have like a production van behind them that is like ingesting all the footage that they're giving them, and like they did like a day turnaround of like each day of this trip. It was like a 14-day trip. So it's like really fun and like really well produced and everything. And the vibes are great, but it's perfect, like, you know, oh, what kind of YouTube video do I want while I eat lunch, right? Like that's kind of the vibe, because you get to see like beautiful Japan. And you get to see these two dingbats try to like figure out where they need to go on motorcycles to get all the way through Japan.
What a great alternative to the Pauls like a decade ago.
Yeah, right? Yes. Totally. And like a lot of stuff too, and like I noticed this when I was watching, and I was glad to have this kind of confirmed in the comments as well, of like it feels very like there's something very old YouTube about it.
Yeah.
That was very heartwarming to me, because it just felt like this is a silly idea, and like obviously it's like produced very well, but it also just feels very like this is a simple concept and like something that wouldn't really happen on any other kind of medium, right? And like why would you, right?
100%.
But like to see just like two friends try to do a very silly task, and it feels very just like buddy comedy kind of stuff going on, with also like all these different interactions and things. and like all the stops along the way, and like how are they going to get to a hotel, or like how are they going to get to this next place. Like they also couldn't use like the expressways, so they had to do more of like the main roads and things, or get on a ferry with their motorcycles, right? Like there's a lot of different like side quests of like how to get from one point to the other.
This, you know what, you're so right actually about it feeling like old school YouTube, because it does remind me, God, it must have been at least a decade ago. But do you remember when a lot of our faves at the time got fucking Ford Fiestas?
Oh my God, yes. And they did like the tour across the...
Yeah, and some did tours. Like Megan got a tattoo at that time. This feels a lot like when you are a brand ambassador and you just did shit for them.
Yeah.
At the time.
Right. Yeah, and that's something interesting about like Ludwig particularly. He has like a Red Bull thing going on. He's technically a Red Bull athlete, but like for gaming, so it's not like a sports thing. You know what I mean? It's not really that impressive.
Sense, honestly.
Yes. But like I think whenever he gets like a big sponsor like that, he's like, what if I just made like something sick, right? Rather than I can just like be at a computer and like play video games for 2 hours, which like he also does. But like when it comes to like, this is a cool idea and I need this to like work, and how do we actually make this work? Like a lot of that diverts into that, which is really cool. So it's great. I had a really fun time watching it. It's a very charming and fun, and like, you know, they're just trying to make it work with very limited like rule sets.
Real life escape room. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Real life immersion after learning a language for a while is like, all right, we'll go navigate it now.
Yeah, it's like, put to the test, baby. Let's see how your years of studying has prepared you for this.
No, doing it without a phone, I get for the sense of like, oh, you can't use the map there. But not having it for the translation aspect.
Yeah.
Makes me want to break out in hives. Because you know that there are, like, these poor Japanese people are like, God, more white guys with vlogging cameras. Fuck, dude. Oh,
right.
I'm so done.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly recommend. It's a very fun, like, background, little, like, something to eat your lunch to YouTube kind of video series, but it's very fun.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here. I do want to let you know that
that
the ambiance of this is right outside my window. The little girls that I'm neighbors with have drawn hopscotch outside on chalk.
Oh.
And that's just the vibe that we're bringing to the space, which is cute.
That's how you know spring has sprung.
No,
that's
for real.
That's the sign. Oh, I love that.
Which is great. My happy thing, I did tell you this already. It's not my happy thing, but it is an honorable mention that I feel like I am legally obligated to tell the class about. I did have a meeting this week that was not about this, but did end up mentioning Twilight. Someone I met with this week did work at Summit during Twilight and New Moon coming out. And
I can't believe.
The woman mentioned them as, quote, vampire movies. That was how detached she was from the experience. And I was, you know, that meme of the white guy in class turning red because he's trying not to cough. That was literally me being like, I'm trying so hard to stay professional right now, but I need to ask you about your experience working at Summit during this time.
Oh my gosh.
So that was just a side note of my week.
It's all connected.
It's just, even when I'm trying at work, you know, it just fucking all comes back. It all comes back to 9/11. My happy thing this week is I'd like to talk about Val Kilmer.
Rip. Pour one out.
No, for real. I'd like to talk about this white man a little bit.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, when we're recording this, I did my annual rewatch of The Prince of Egypt.
Love.
Because it's Passover and I was a Christian in another life. So, unfortunately.
'Tis the season.
But I'm also a connoisseur of great art. And I was realizing because I can't watch anything without having IMDb in one eye at all times.
Sure.
Just how much Val Kilmer just fucking killed the game a little bit.
Just crushed it. Yeah.
And watching this the first time that since he's passed sucks.
Yeah.
But rather than just sitting and missing him, I was like, damn, you had a great filmography. You did it.
Yeah.
You did a great job there. One, introduction to great queer film, Top Gun. Thank you for your service.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Come on now.
And a lot of people were probably introduced to him with Billy the Kid and Batman Forever. I've watched him every year for forever with The Prince of Egypt. And then I remembered a couple years back for the podcast, we watched The Birthday Cake that he was in as well.
Oh my god, yeah. Probably the only redeemable part of that movie.
No, for real, right?
Being honest. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I forgot that he had a connection to the podcast there.
Yeah.
I am obviously sad that he's gone because he passed early in life. 65 is very young there. But I am immensely grateful to have been alive when he was alive and to have experienced some great films that he was in. So thank you, White Boy. I appreciate you.
Thank you, White Boy. Yeah, it's particularly Batman Forever, which fucking one of the GOAT Batmans. Like, you know, you can't deny it. Just fucking, it's hilarious. It's amazing. It's ridiculous. But like, I remember when he passed, a lot of people were posting like older photos of him, and particularly during this time or whatever. And there was one like BTS kind of photo of him, like had very Robert Pattinson energy, like Robert Pattinson now energy. And I think that's really beautiful of like, wow, it's all connected.
I would have loved to see him and Rob on screen. I think that it would have been way too powerful to imagine.
Yeah.
There. I'm sad that he is gone. I'm also immensely grateful to have seen and have spent so many hours of my life watching him on television. And I'm just grateful. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm sad about it, especially because this is the first time that I watched The Prince of Egypt since he's been gone. But I'm also like, hey, you had a great creative career, and I appreciate that. I also did not realize when looking at this, I know it's the video game and not the movie. He was in Disney's Planes.
Oh shit! Hell yeah! Get your coin, dude.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is great. But yeah, so thank you, Val Kilmer. You killed it. You did a great job. You're awesome.
Pour one out
for the go. For real. Hey, I'm so glad that you brought up the charisma that is young Val Kilmer and how it relates to Rob. This news that I found out because you put it on our Twitter account shocked me to my fucking core. Can you tell folks about this?
Absolutely. I was just POV me and tweeting this in that time frame. I was like vibrating. I couldn't even get the words out. I was shaking, typing out just 2 words to quote retweet it. Because this is, I can't even process this still now.
Oh my God.
But allegedly, reportedly, according to Deadline, Dune 3 is looking at Robert Pattinson for a role in that movie. And I just... What? What?
As a villain, too, by the way.
Yes, right. Huge.
Huge news. Second of all, if they don't do the thing with the title of Dune 3 where they make the E in it a 3, seriously missed opportunity, by the way.
Yeah. If we can't get Now You 3 Me, we need to get DUN 3. we need that.
So I have not seen the second Dune, the Squidwolf.
I also have not seen it yet. Oops, sorry.
I saw the first one. It was fine.
Yeah.
I've heard the fucking scream on my TikTok so many times.
Sure, yeah.
So I'll watch it, all right? Everyone shut up, because Zendaya's in it, so I'll watch it. But I love this. I always love seeing Rob in villain roles. The one where he was the preacher was so scary.
Oh, yes. Devil All the Time.
Yeah. So let that man do a sick voice in a very sandy environment.
Absolutely. And I just love that, Robert is booked and busy, of course.
Kids are expensive, man. I think he's realizing
Kids are expensive. Yeah, he's got to get his ass up and work, okay? And then he's doing it, all right? But, like, he's also, if this is true and this is confirmed, he will be in at least 2 projects with Zendaya, like, in the next few years, which is lovely. And also, Tom Holland. Is he just, like, there? Is he, like, some sort, because he was in Devil All the Time with Tom Holland.
Right.
Is he sort of their
third?
Is this a throuple situation? Is he their third? Or is it, I guess, a quad thing?
Right.
You know, with Suki in there. What's going on? I have questions.
The Sprinter vans are just saving on transportation there, just like from set to set.
Yeah, they're carpooling. They're just like, this is easier. It's just like everyone here they're on the same like co-op or whatever in their new house or something. Like there's like some sort of living situation. I don't know. But I love it. I do love Zendaya, and I think him in this movie with already a banger cast as it has been for the last 2 movies is wonderful. I would be very excited to see this.
I'm in it. Rob loves the sci-fi, so I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would say no, if only just for scheduling conflicts, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, dog. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm really excited to talk to you about this week's episode, because I have a lot of thoughts, and it was really hard not to text you while watching this episode. I mistakenly thought last week that this was going to be a fun episode centered on in the gym, 80s dance, Caroline was going to be happy. And none of that, it was neither Caroline focused, in the gym focused, or happy.
Well, I mean, we did get an aggressive 80s gym push.
Which I did love. I did love that.
That was not really the through line here, which was unfortunate.
Correct. Yeah.
Although Stefan being an 80s guy tracks so heavily.
He does have a rose tattoo, so I would be shocked if the 80s weren't his shit.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you guys like The Cure? Wink, wink. Shut the fuck up.
Him talking so much about the Breakfast Club was Fork Fountain Kitchen, honestly.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you know he's tried to do the boombox trick, for sure, right? Like, for sure, right?
Ew.
This guy pisses me off.
I just want to punch him so badly.
Also, wait, sorry. There was like a really, I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it was very funny to me at the beginning of this episode for Stefan because, you know, he fucks Rebekah because he's fucking doing his own thing right now, I guess. He's processing his emotions really well.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, trying to exit, do a little walk of shame, but because of vampire stuff, he's moving like really fast. And so it's like the speed up of like getting out of the bed and like putting on a shirt. And just like the warp speed of that is very funny to me.
It was so good. Because last episode, him and Rebekah, 2 notable softies, 2 heart on their sleeves people were like, so we're just gonna fuck and it's gonna be no emotions, right? And they were like, you know, spitting their hands deal, right?
Right, yeah.
Cutscene to the start of this episode. He sleeps over and he's Little Spoon. Yep. So what happened here?
Yeah.
What happened to it's
embarrassing.
just sex and there's no feelings attached. I get aftercare, but Stephanie, you slept over.
Yeah. Come on now. Like, be so for real. And like that's interesting too of like that is so crucial obviously to Stefan's character because he's very much puts on a front of like this isn't bothering me, I'm not upset about the Elena thing for sure, I'm good. And it's like, all right, bud, totally, for sure. And Rebekah's doing the same thing in a different font, right? Of like she is obviously so into these like romantic gestures and the sense of closeness that she hasn't been able to have, and is truly like a romantic, you know, like that is her bag and that's her thing.
Yeah.
But she has this like veneer of I'm a tough bitch, you can't hurt me,
so
blah 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 blah
for both of them.
And it's like, love you, but also we know this isn't true and you are both doing this fucking thing and you doing it together is not working.
No.
Because you're falling into this shit with each other.
No, it's so embarrassing. And I I get it. I am annoyed when it's Stefan because he pisses me off.
Totally.
I think it's a little bit more endearing when it's Rebekah. Because
oh, yeah.
I think she's fine.
Right. And she's been scorned, and she's been like, she hasn't really had a choice in a lot of this, and a lot of her actions are very instinctual and emotion-based, which are totally valid, of her just wanting to be normal, quote-unquote, to be human, to have, like, a love, actually, finally, and, like, have someone who loves her, and that feels more warranted and earned than Stefan, who's just having, like, a pity party for himself and being like, if you even care, like, just like, okay, bud, like, relax.
It is very funny to me that Stefan tries to, like, sneak out, do the walk of shame, and Klaus's whole thing this episode is like, oh, I'm here, by the way.
Yeah. He's peering in every doorway, every window. He is always watching. He's everywhere, everything everywhere all at once this episode.
But also is so kept out of the loop, which he is not used to at all. Mm-hmm. And it is a nice change of pace to see. Mm-hmm. I also do want to say, I took my notes in my notes app, and Apple has decided that homicide cannot be spelled correctly. Like, even when it is spelled correctly, it gives you the red squiggles. So
that's fun.
Okay, censorship. But I'd written down the part where Klaus says homicide on the brain in reference to Cole. Because he did have some funny quips this episode. But I was like, interesting that you won't let me write that down. I think that's interesting. Yeah. Odd. But I did love this episode, that even, because if I have to watch Klaus, that he is just being, he's trying to get into every scene. He's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with everyone. Yeah. But is being stuck with the person who is being kept out of the loop. So he has no idea what's going on.
Right. Just him being like, hey, Damon, can you tell me what's going on? Why is Stefan and Rebekah acting really weird? And he's like, dog, I've been bleeding out here for days. I have no idea what's happening. Nobody's talking to me. I have no intel. This is not a good use of your time. Like,
I'll be your Jimmy Cricket here, but I can't tell you battle fans.
Right. Like, sorry, they left me out of this because I still want to kill Jeremy. So how about you just find someone else who has more information? I am not helpful to you.
It is so wild. I could not find the logical reason why Caroline was not in this episode.
Yeah, where is she? Missing persons report. What's going on?
Why would she, of all people, not be involved with the dance? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. She's being silenced. She's being censored for her one job in this world, in this universe, which is to plan a banger fucking party, a banger dance.
I'm so pissed off. I
don't get it. Let her cook. Excuse me.
Especially on an 80s dance, you know she would have loved it.
God, she loves a decade theme. She loves it.
I'm so annoyed. I mean, I love that Bonnie was there to help, but where's my girl? I don't understand.
God.
So, I know that I'm not supposed to necessarily be on Bonnie's dad's side.
Sure. However,
he finally did the thing that we've been talking about for 4 seasons, which is he put Vervain in the water supply.
Yeah.
So,
which, by the way,
the first thing, Homeboy's been there for a day, and he was like, okay. Right. Order
Executive
of
order number 1. We gotta do that, because why is it not in here?
Exactly.
Right? There's a very clear vampire problem in Mystic Falls, and every interim mayor and other mayor since then has been like, it's fine. Probably don't need it, right?
Right.
What? Excuse me? Hello?
So if he inevitably breaks bad, right, because these writers fucking hate Bonnie and never wants her to be surrounded by family, okay? So I know how this is going to go. However, he did do the thing that I've been whining about for 4 seasons. So I can't say that he doesn't have logic there.
Right.
And from a responsible parent point, because we have been talking about these parents don't give a fuck about their kids, right? They let them run around Mystic Falls. By the way, my drag name, Miss Dick Falls. He's like
Dick Falls.
He's like, you have been running around with an adult man that I don't trust. Yeah. He said, you're gonna bring the fucking apocalypse, so we need to have a family meeting. Yeah. That, shitty for the plot, right? But very responsible parent thing to do.
Right. Because, like, in my mind, I'm like, you are right, for sure, because y'all do need to talk about this.
Yeah.
However, can this wait till the morning?
30 minutes, right?
Like, can we just give it a beat? Because stuff is going down, and unfortunately, nobody knows how to do anything around here without Bonnie.
Right.
Is it unfortunate that Bonnie's tapped into the dark side right now? Absolutely.
Literally, yeah.
However, I do need her really bad. So maybe y'all can just, like,
watch an episode of Jeopardy.
Talk over coffee. Watch an episode of Jeopardy. She'll do her thing. She'll come right back. We can talk about it. You know what I mean?
I need to fucking put Klaus in a invisible glass box. Bonnie?
Yeah. That was so nuts. Or, like, making him hit his own head. I was like, what is
it was
this
so
lady
scary.
up to?
And in the living room of all places. Jesus.
God.
She was so scary this episode. I loved it.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to be good in the future.
No.
But I'm loving that everyone is scared of Bonnie because finally, recognize her power.
Yeah. Put some respect, y'all. Come on.
It's finally she got bangs and people are paying attention. Goddamn. Pisses me off. I also do want to say she had some really good quips this episode. The one earlier on when she was like, "Do you think Carolyn's gonna be pissed that there's only 89 red balloons?" I love you, Bonnie.
So good. So good.
So good. I don't think that the audience understood what that meant, but I got you.
Yeah.
I love you.
That was a joke for us. And it succeeded. It landed. It crushed.
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was really good. Listen, I know that Cole is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I would be shocked if I went back to when this aired in 2013 and I did not see thirst traps of Cole because he looks like every fucking vitamin D deprived boy from back then.
White boy of the month for sure.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Like that is, that's him. When he was walking in the dark with his headphones in, I was like, that's it. That's her, right?
Yeah.
That
game over, y'all.
He is good this episode too. He scared me a little bit when he was with Elena making those drinks. I was freaked out. God.
Yeah. I love too they're trying to have this plan of, Elena and Jeremy being like, what if we killed him, right? Like, we should just nip it in the bud. Fuck it, right? And he's calling. He's outside the house. He's like, hey, bitch. Let's have a chat. Let's have a kiki. And she's like, hey, Jeremy, you got to go and find Bonnie. But Jeremy's like, I am the only person that can let him in. So I do need to be here, unfortunately. But having that sort of like, who's in the house, who's out, and then later when she's like, fuck you, bitch, bye, and he's like, sorry, you already let me in, I am going to bust open this door. Like, thank you for slamming the door in my face, but however, unfortunately, I can still come in here.
He truly wrecked their whole house, kicking down every door. That local Ace Hardware guy that we talk about all the time, gonna be making so much money.
Yeah.
The thing is, I regularly complain about why the fuck Matt is around. And I still will to the end of time. I am starting to, unfortunately, understand why they do keep the token human around for episodes like this. Because when Elena was on the phone with Cole, and then it was like fucking Tweedledee and Tweedledum next to her.
God.
And they were juggling handguns, which made me really nervous. it made sense that it was like, oh, well, Jeremy's the only one. He's a hunter, but he's also human, who can let Cole in. But we need Matt. He's the only human who could dagger Rebekah. So we do unfortunately need to keep him around and train him by playing Call of Duty with Jeremy. Because that helps,
That was so funny when they were playing video games and being like, we're training, we're practicing, so don't be rude.
We're sharpening our minds, Elena.
On the kitchen island, there's like a million guns and knives and stuff, and Elena's like, hey, would it be cool if we just had these in a different place? Because I think sometimes you still like may want to kill me, and like this is all kind of very available here in close proximity, so how about we just find maybe a different workflow for this?
For real.
Because I don't love that there's just guns and knives on our kitchen island.
Because Jeremy has, in the last episode or so, gotten better, you'd think, with his urges. Yes. And then he fucking flipped a switch with Abby this episode, where it was like Looney Tunes. His eyes got all big and was like, oh, there's a vampire in my sight, I need to attack. And it's like, hey, bud. Bonnie looking at him like, hey, so I'm not necessarily happy with this whole intervention thing that's happening, but that is my mom. Right. So please don't kill my mom. He's like, my bad.
In like a little bit. Like, I appreciate your quickness to try to help assuage the situation. This is not doing that. So what if we just not? Don't do that.
Let's not pretend we did. It's just, bud. There was a lot of strategy this episode. Even though I'm sad that Caroline was not here, I was very engaged with the amount of strategy that was happening.
Yeah, there were actually plans.
Thought.
And they were trying to execute them. Whoa. Huge. Interesting. Very out of character for most of these people.
Like, it surprised me, because, Stefan loves to hold a grudge, goddamn, that he answered Elena's call, first of all.
Yeah.
And then he remembered, this motherfucker, to turn his motorcycle on, and then did strategy planning. We love it when vampires remember that they do have superpowers there. But it killed me, though, to watch him do this again to Rebekah during the dance.
Ugh. So nasty.
Because Stefan's such a shitty liar.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt obvious that, I don't know, maybe it wasn't to Rebekah, but it felt so much that it was like, she knows this is all fake, but she's just going to lean into it. She obviously clocked it by the slide in the hallway thing.
Yeah, totally.
Also,
Stephanie's not being subtle, texting Matt, being like, hey, it's good, hold off for a second. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you texting? Who are you texting? Right. And it's just like, it's so sad, because it's so core to Rebekah of being like, I know this is all a farce, and Stefan is fucking with me, but there is something so beautiful about this to me, of just like living and pretending in this space to feel like courted and like doing silly, Breakfast Club runs and doing like dancing to 80s songs and like just gabbing all alone like she's the only girl in the universe and being like, he's full of shit, but I do like this and I am letting my guard down, or not like fully down, but like enough to like enjoy it for what it is.
No, you're right, though.
I mean, meanwhile, Stefan just texted.
Goddamn. Yeah. She lets her guard down enough to hand him the dagger, which she wouldn't have before. And she had asked him before they left for the school of like, do you regret sleeping with me last night? And he says no. And she asked him about it, like, did you sleep with me to get the dagger? And he's like, no, of course not. No, that's so weird. Why would you ask that? But it kills me. I love Rebekah. I would have been fine with her just being a flat character who only does crimes because she deserves that. It is so much sadder and more beautiful to see someone who's like, who is brokenhearted, justifiably so, from past love and also from her siblings, and is persevering anyway. And I love her. And her and Elijah are beautiful and great, and the whole rest of that family can go kick rocks, as far as I'm concerned.
They need to maximize their joint slay and do their thing.
Correct.
And fuck everyone else here.
I agree. Man, it's so sad. I will say, listen, I'm not sad that Cole got. I did think it was funny that he was playing Call of Duty as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was wild, though, that right before he got, we found out that he ran with witches 3 times in his life, and yet had the audacity earlier this episode to try to fuck with Bonnie. Because what do you mean that you have, over the course of your life, lived with witches? Presumably, that means that you respect them. I mean, I guess not. But, like, know enough about their power, and then you go up to Bonnie and you try to fuck with her?
Yeah.
My guy.
What do you think was going to happen, my dog?
Right. Embarrassing.
Him being on fire, though, was cunt. It was pretty major.
It was so wild. I'm glad they did that in the only place in the house with tile.
Right. Yeah, some fire prevention methods. Also, Elena with the crossbow.
Dude.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. That's my girl.
It was, that whole fight scene probably took a while for them to, block. Because it did look pretty realistic there. Cole stabbing her with the banister was so nasty.
Oh my god. So sick and twisted.
And this is what I do enjoy about Cole, because he was like, I can't remember which side, Jeremy, you have the tattoo on. Oh, I'll just cut both arms off. And it's like, dude.
Just in case.
You're so sick. I honestly didn't think this episode that they were going to get him. But they did.
I was like, yeah, because they came up with this plan, like, what, an episode or 2 ago, and they actually succeeded? Yeah. Whoa, that's record time for some of these films.
Yeah. And then to see Klaus, who had again, this, like, pseudo-therapy session with Damon.
Yeah.
Where he's, like, trying to interrogate Damon about why Elena loves him. And Damon's very clearly like, hey, bud, so this is about Caroline, right? And he's like, no, fuck you. Finally figures out what's going on. And then he's in the doorway. Oh my god. Nasty. This actor, again, this is not about Klaus. This actor can do such a he has such a power with tears in his eyes. I see why he was cast.
Yeah, he can make such, like, micro adjustments to his face that change so many, or have so many different meanings, right? It's so fascinating. And, like, him being like, I love too that he was pissed off, not even just because his brother was dead, but being like, I was gonna torture him my own way, guys, okay? I was gonna make him miserable for the rest of his eternal life, and you just ruined my chance to do that, you assholes.
And that's the whole thing, right? Because when he was talking with Damon looked at him straight up and was like, and I love this too, because Damon was essentially playing with a koosh ball, right? And, like, throwing it up in the air because he's so fucking bored. He looks at Klaus and is like, you do bad things for no reason, right? Imagine just saying this to fucking Hitler, right? He's like, if you're going to be bad with a purpose, like me. Like, I do really shitty things, but not just because I'm an asshole, right?
Yeah.
And Klaus is like, yeah.
Much to consider.
Interesting. Anyway. And so for him to say that to Elena and Jeremy and be like, I'm gonna fucking burn your house down because you didn't let me fuck with my brother. You did it instead. I'm gonna kill you and everyone that you love, which he's been saying for seasons now to them. So it's like, does that matter? The words don't necessarily mean much anymore.
Sure. Do it, bitch.
Jeremy's like, you killed my dad. He's now a ghost. So like, okay. But it was just, especially because the actor, he really emphasized those last two words. Like he screamed my terms, which I thought was so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was so good. I don't like that character. It's the actor does something really good with him that I think is interesting. But that, the one thing also that I need to, this episode fucking killed me. Finding out, because we do this like fucking jump cut to Stefan talking with Rebekah.
Yeah.
Where the last time that we saw them, she handed over the dagger and was like, so we gotta kill my brother. And then the next thing we see is like, my brother's dead. Like, this whole family.
Like, wait, what?
This whole family, it does not understand consequences because they're used to killing their family, but then it's like in a coffin, so it's not necessarily permanent.
Right. It's like someone else did it? Whoa, wait, that's our thing. We're supposed to kill each other.
I want you to.
How dare you? Get out of our family business. Okay.
This conversation was one of the worst things that Stefan has done, which is really saying something, right? Because he's been on one this episode.
Yeah.
Him looking at Rebekah, again, tears in her eyes, which is rude. You're already on my shit list, Stefan. Him saying to a crying Rebekah, who's in her 80s, she's all 80s up right now. Him saying to her, I'm not going to let the people I care about get hurt. And then he lists off a group of people that are not her.
Yeah.
He's saying about killing her brother. Bitch, you just got into an alliance with her.
Yeah.
If you were in Survivor, you'd be gone. If you were in Big Brother, you'd be gone. They'd be playing that nasty track behind you because this is not how alliances work. But it's just, that's not how trust works.
Oh, yeah. Hate to break it to you. Yeah. Sorry, dog.
And then obviously, because he keeps her alive, he doesn't dagger her, which very confusing for the gallery, especially Elena when he arrives.
Right. And Damon just loves to have a moment to be like, "Oh, is it because you fucked her?" Just so everyone knows. Everyone, hello, everyone.
Just as we're getting everything out in the air right now.
Know. Yeah.
She deservedly was very confused by that.
Yeah.
It's just do I think Stefan would have said something? No. Do I think that it needed to come out at that exact moment? No.
Like, we have other things we should probably be discussing, but...
I am glad that we got the context of Bonnie's magic, because I was curious about how she got the box there. So apparently it's from the new moon. We have 3 days to find the cure now. So thank you, Bonnie, for putting a time box around it.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think this was supposed to be funny in the show, but I did find it very funny. The part where fucking Jeremy werewolves out and rips his shirt off.
That was wild.
Was because, listen, I understand that last episode, Elena and Jeremy came up, well, it was Elena's idea, but she shared this with Jeremy, being like, listen, I think that it's really fucked up that Damon and Klaus want you to kill all these people and do this individually. So we need to just go to the source there. Logical, right? Kill one person and get the whole line. What did they think was going to happen? Because tattoos are painful, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for him to just immediately level up.
Yeah, it was kind of wild to see it like just crawl around his skin, being like, "Oh shit, y'all can see this too? Oh fuck."
Yeah, if it's gonna be publicly visible for a while, I mean, I would imagine that's not gonna last, because doing that from a makeup standpoint would be exhausting. So they're probably gonna, Bonnie's probably gonna do a thing and make it not visible after the cure or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I would imagine that was probably a little bit scary for people to see. It was just the ripping of the shirt that I was like, God damn, dude.
It's like, okay, fuck. All right.
I know
relax.
It's an instinct, but the idea of exposing it to more oxygen in that moment doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to help, but all right.
Sure.
You know what? I didn't realize until right now, Tyler was not in this episode either, but he was probably grieving his mom. Maybe that's where Caroline is too?
Yeah, maybe.
Them just not explaining it is confusing to me, but all right. Sure. Yeah. I didn't hate this. Like, I actually enjoyed this episode, even though a lot of really shitty stuff happened.
Yeah.
It was the first time in a while that it seemed like people were just thinking things through. Which was nice.
Which is a rare turn of form for this group.
Exactly.
If anything, this episode really, and I know we always are like, we want a filler episode, we want a beach episode, whatever, you know, all these different things, right? Just for a little break in the noise.
Well,
but anything else, like above anything else, this really made me want an episode very focused on Rebekah's, like, all the things that she has learned about the world now that she is in the 2000s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because her even being like, did you guys know that, like, like, stuff is different? And just having these little one-liners being like, stuff has changed. Like, you know, they just show movies on TV, like, all the time. Isn't that wild? Like, I just want all of these little Easter eggs, because I'm like, out of everyone, she's just been locked in a box for a long time. And I feel like I would love a little bit more culture shock adapting things with Rebekah, because it's very fun.
I know that it is not interesting, right, for the television show, but I would love if we still got extras on DVDs, right? Yeah. What I would really love is, like, her and April just queening out, and April being like, listen, I'm just going to show you, what was it? On, not MTV, but what was the one that started with V?
VH1.
VH1, the 90s ones and the 80s.
Yes.
All of those to, like, really get her up to speed quickly.
Totally. Just have, like, a little sleepover.
Yes.
Get some history, you know. At this point, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is airing. She would be loving it. Are you kidding? Like, show her the world.
And then just a couple of years ago, in their timeline, the MTV series that, like, Nicole Byer was on about, like, all the girls dishing secrets and them dishing secrets about guys was on. Like, I want her to get caught up on culture, and I want to see it. And I think that if we still had behind the scenes on DVDs, just a quick 3-minute clip of that would just heal my soul, actually. Just let me see Rebekah in a mall, please, God,
I need it.
I know that you were just talking about a filler episode, but next week, the episode 13, Into the Wild, does look like Damon and Shane are going on alone. It does look like they are surviving the wilderness.
Yeah, nothing good could come from this duo.
Do they not look like a couple?
They do. This is them, like, on The Amazing Race. Like, they're they're a team together. They're in the Adirondacks. They're trying to find the clue. They're getting the express pass.
They unfortunately would do really well because on The Amazing Race, because Shane would have all the, like, he'd be brains, and Damon would have all of the charisma to help with, like, the locals. They'd kill it, unfortunately. That pisses me off. Yeah. I'm scared to see Shane back, and I don't understand why they're going to be in the forest. The only other thing
can't be good.
It can't be good. It can't be good with the headstone. It can't be good because we've got a clock on finding the cure. So I'm nervous. I'm nervous here, folks. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Thank you to Greg Lautner.
Ooh, thank you to April Dobrev.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Ooh, thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ow. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Ow. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Pew, pew, pew.
So, I'm really proud to say that I found this fanfiction all by myself.
Love.
This is by the author Y. White Rain.
Love.
It is titled Hall of Fame. And
Amazing.
the summary is Elena has opinions on Stefan's Hall of Fame and Pokemon Blue.
Okay.
The notes for this, by the way, says was supposed to post this in 2014, better late than never, and this was published in 2022. Now,
Okay.
this is 130 words. I will be reading it in its entirety.
Love.
Stefan found Elena lounging on his bed and holding a very familiar-looking device with a blue cartridge in its back. He walked over the edge of the bed and crossed his arms. "What are you doing?" "Wondering why Butterfree is in your first Hall of Fame," Elena said and shook her head. "And a wheezing. The only decent Pokemon you have here is your Blastoise." Stefan curled his fingers into his elbows in order to bury the urge to take the Game Boy from Elena's hands with any means necessary. "And your highest level Pokemon, Clefable, and it's only level 52. Elena looked up from the Game Boy and shook her head. "How many times did you have to play through the Elite Four in order to win?" "I don't remember," Stefan lied. End scene.
That is... I need 8 million chapters of that.
Can you imagine?
That's so good.
Can you imagine that he would be very into it, but like really shitty?
Yeah.
You know, if we get a couple more seasons, because apparently this goes into season 8, we will be in Pokemon Go time, in real time.
Oh my god. Pokemon go to the polls, you know?
Shut the fuck up. Shut
What? What?
The idea of Stefan being really into Pokemon is now canon to me. Like, that makes sense to me.
It tracks. It tracks. You can't tell me otherwise.
Him being really, really into it, but really bad at it, just makes sense to his character. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
Them's the breaks.
That just feels correct to me. Well, friends, tell your friends about the show.
Yeah.
I have some white boys to go catch up on in Japan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.